Hello, everybody. This is Zero to Hero, where everyday Canadians are getting ahead with real estate. This is the show where we dive into the success stories of several real-world investors. We dive into the strategies that help take their business to the next level. You get to know the who, learn the how to get what you need to succeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today I have the absolute pleasure to speak with one of the awesome real estate investors in Canada. I'm really, really excited because this is a conversation I think if you wanted to understand things about contracting, working with partners, doing deals, and really growing and being able to develop skills over a period of time, I definitely have someone who I think would bring a lot of value to the table. Today, I am with the Daniel LeBlanc. Let me tell you about him real quick. He's a contractor who became a real estate investor and has been doing this investing since 2004. He is from Moncton, New Brunswick. He lives, he eats, he sleeps, he breathes real estate. And I'm so excited because this is exactly who I want on to really add value to your circumstance and situation. So Daniel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me there, Daniel.
And the pleasure is absolutely mine, man. Absolutely mine. I'm excited to have you on, man. Talk to me real quick about what have you been excited for lately? What is there been anything that's really just gotten you excited as of recently?
My excitement right now is to keep growing my business to another level, and that's what council brought to me, and I'm going to the next level, right? So every time I think I hit the ceiling, I keep hitting it. I keep setting myself up for another ceiling to go up to, right? So basically, that's where I'm at right now. I'm leveling up to scale my business to a next level where I can handle a lot of investors, to handle a lot of projects, and it's coming a lot better. So definitely on the right track, and I believe there's a good potential for a good future in this game for sure.
Amazing. And you know what? Now that you've done this for many years, it's easy to really think, man, yeah, I'm really glad I got into real estate. But in the beginning, why did you choose real estate? Like, was it just a matter of your environment? Was it something that drew you toward it? Why real estate?
I would say it has to be around my environment for sure, because I've been in construction, like with the 3 generations of construction. My whole family's in construction. I've seen houses go up, apartment buildings go up, and basically by going through all that, I got to meet some investors where I had no idea what investors were at the time, but then I kind of grew into that, and then I found out why they do what they do, and they seem to be very successful. And I have two people that I really look up to. That when I was a kid, that they were very successful in real estate, in construction, and into real estate investing. And one of them was my godfather, and the other one was my best friend's father's boss he used to work for. And then these two became my idols, and then I just kind of grew up with them. And then at that point, I just try to do it on my own and try to figure it out on my own. And then I made a lot of mistakes, and I've learned a lot from it, and I'm still making mistakes. I'm still learning, but that's part of the journey. And that's what I'm mainly focused for, is the journey. And the end results will be what it will be. And right now it's the journey. I just want to enjoy what I do. And I love the fact that I can transform old houses back to new houses again and make good families, good homes. And I get a good kick out of that. So I think that's why I'm into real estate, and I think that's what I want to do it. And I also want to get financially independent and get my own time so I can better serve and help other people, basically.
You know, I really love how you answered that question. Not from it sounded like it was well written or it was rehearsed, but rather, I think that's exactly why people should get into real estate. See, people who succeed in something, it's in part because they actually enjoy it or they get something out of it, which is another way of saying they enjoy it, right? Like the fact that you think about the people who would use that as a home to make memories. It's a place of rest. It's a place for family gatherings and things of that nature. And you when you're building houses and you're renovating them, you're fixing problems and you're making things ugly to going pretty, and from ugly to beautiful. You have that in mind when you're doing these deals, and that brings you great joy. But then on top of that, it also helps you have a better financial life. It helps you set up your family for success because you've added value, and there is a value exchange in return. And so I think that is the right mindset as to what people should approach. And this, look, if it's not real estate, if it's something else, that principle has to be the same, no matter what asset class, no matter what job, no matter what pursuit you're pursuing. It definitely should have that in mind. So I think that was really, really thoughtful. But even though that sounds all great, Daniel, what were your biggest limiting beliefs when you first got started?
My biggest limited beliefs was the money. I thought that, like, I didn't know about private lending. I did not know about other type of financing that's out there, and basically in the JV agreements and all that stuff, right? And I used to do it with the banks, and the banks would always like say no, or they would, give you a hard time getting the financing. And then even though if you get the financing, they only pay the renovations at the end, so you still have to get your own money to do the renovations and all that stuff. So I was limited that I couldn't get the money to do the deals I wanted to, so it was always harder and it took longer. It took maybe a year or two before I could do every deal once at a time. And then once I learned to go around that stuff, that money is actually out there if you connect with the right people and find the right network, and you will definitely find the opportunities that you're seeking out to make sure that your dream comes up, because you're also helping these investors to also be successful in what they want to do as well. So once you get the like-minded people working together, I think the money can be found, and it's all about building relationships, right? So.
All about building relationships. Can't do this business alone. And
No.
I think that definitely really acknowledging those limiting beliefs so that you can do something about it is what's going to help you move forward. The more you procrastinate, the more you put it off and say, it's just something I'll deal with later. You're not going to advance. You're not going to make progress. And I'm telling you right now, there are people who have been in real estate that still have these limiting beliefs. And listen, if you are still wondering, man, I don't have money, so I can't invest in real estate, you need to get around people just like Daniel who have done deals without using his own money to do deals, so that you can replicate the same thing. So Daniel, you talk about, wanting to, take houses that are ugly, make them pretty again, really create homes that families are proud to move in. What were the typical strategies that you use, either when you first started or even today, that you like to focus on? And what's your reason for that particular strategy?
My strategy is basically flipping. I prefer flipping over anything, because being a construction carpenter all my life, doing fixing and all that stuff, it made sense to me to just go in that direction. And basically that's why I chosen that. I have rentals as well. So basically that's a great way to go to get cash flow, but the cash flow you get is not going to be a big amount of money. It's just going to sustain itself, and down the road, it's going to cash in with depreciation and what comes down with it. But it takes time that way. It's nice to have a little bit of both active and passive. I prefer the active right now because that's what I do, and I'm building my team, and I got all my trades and all that stuff. So that's why I made my business surrounding around flipping, because I can keep these people going. But basically, my main strategy is basically just go and find old houses, and now I'm learning to work with wholesalers, and that's helping me get better deals and take a little bit of the risk out of the deal. We'll still due diligence involved, but at the end of the day, I believe that flipping for me is the way to go. And burrs are good as well, and rentals as well.
Look, man, I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I'm gonna say this right now. We need to make active income great again. All this stuff about passive income and all this stuff, man, listen, the truth is what a lot of us like to call passive income isn't even really passive. Like, if you actually have to use any amount of your time to manage something, it's not passive. It's an active business. And the reality is, you really made something, you said something really important in the beginning. Or maybe actually it was me when I was introducing you. You eat, breathe, you sleep real estate. This is something that you enjoy. Why? And if this is something that you like doing, this is how you like to spend your day. See, I find that people find fulfillment in doing something, right? Many of us want passive income so we can be free to do something, right? And so when you have that opportunity to do whatever you want, I think that's powerful. And so I would say, look, man, if you're looking to generate some income, don't be ashamed to pursue active income. It's a great thing. It is a very, very great thing. There are people like you, Daniel, who are doing it. Many investors across the country who are doing this business, and they're getting a lot of fulfillment out of it. And it's a great thing to do. It's a great way to spend time if that's what you enjoy. And I find that's definitely something that should be popularized again, for sure. But Daniel, like, you flipped houses, but I've heard that, and I know for sure that it can be a risky business if you don't do it the right way, right? You definitely put yourself at risk if you're not paying attention to the numbers, having the right quality people on the job, staying on time, on budget, things of that nature. So tell me of a mistake that you made that you wouldn't want anyone else to make.
Just make sure that you learn to say no. If you see a deal out there that you think is going to be great, make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you say, don't be afraid to say no. There's always going to be another deal coming out. If you get a bad feeling about it, walk away from it. Don't try to go forward for it. Second, don't try, if you're starting off, do not try to go with a full gut job. Don't try to do HGTV. Don't try to be Scott McGillivray. Don't try to be these guys right off the top. Just try something easy as a cosmetic flip. I keep it simple, keep it low budget, build the relationships with the people you're working with first. And once you build that relationship, you build some funds, some capital, then you can start taking bigger risk and into the bigger flips, right? I would definitely start off with the small flips first, just cosmetic stuff, paint, floors, maybe cabinets, um, maybe change some windows or just something simple enough that's not going to cost a big budget for renovations, and get a feel for it before you get started into the big game. That's my best. I did the same mistake on my first one. I went crazy and then I went over budget. And then next thing you know, I couldn't even sell for what I put into it. So you don't want to do that again. You know what I mean? That was a hardcore. I was back in, I wasn't even in the group here before. And it's one lesson I learned right off the top.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you had to go back, would it be a matter of just like saying no to the deal, or was there something about that deal in particular that you would change, even though you'd still buy it?
No, I would definitely make sure that I have all back then I didn't break down all my what I need to get done in the house. And then you got to make a contingency of what's going to go wrong, right? There's a lot of things that do go wrong on projects, right? Either be with staff or it be with sub trades or it be with the house itself or stuff behind the walls that you didn't expect to be there. And, you know what I mean? So there's, the budgets never line up perfectly. So if you have a $30,000 budget on renovation, just make sure you have a little bit more than that, because it always ends up being a little bit more, and the older the house, the more risk there is. So just be prepared for that as well.
No,
the newer stuff is built with better code, right? So they're pretty much up to par right now, but the older stuff didn't have a code back then. So basically they just built them the way they knew how to do it back then, right? So we evolved a lot in construction industry. So basically there's a lot of differences in houses. So if you want to start off with something that's more fairly new than something that's 100 years old. That will definitely not discourage you in the first property you do, right? If you can just get a few nice, easy ones at first before you get the bad one, it'll keep you in the game. But if you start off with a bad one right off the start, it might kill your ambition to continue going forward with the investing, right? So,
yeah, that's a great point. That is definitely experience talking right there, as far as this distinguishing between the types of properties you buy and how to get started from zero to where you're at now. That's really, really cool. So now that we've talked about some of the biggest mistakes, what would you say is the biggest difference between Daniel LeBlanc, who started in real estate in the beginning, and the person I am talking to today? What's the difference between those two people?
Before, when I first started, I had a dream. It was all fantasy. I was hoping that it was going to be perfect world, and you just take a house, flip it. It's going to be simple. Put it back in the market. It's simple. Sold, big money, be a millionaire within the first 2 years. And don't get too hyped up on that. It's going to take time and a lot of practice and a lot of experience to get to that point. But it can be done. It's just make sure your reality is in check. And then from back then, from when I started off, I didn't have the counsel like I have now. Like with this group here we have in Cash Flow Tribe and in counsel, I think it's phenomenal that the help, that if you're a beginner, it's a great way to get started. You get a lot of help and support, right? Now where I am today is that with the help and support, just in the 1 year that I've been, well, almost 2 years now, I'm getting with counsel and Cash Flow Tribe, is that basically I've almost evolved everything that I've done in the past within those years. So it's just phenomenal. And before, I used to be a single flipper. Basically, I would just have my crew, and I did the hand work, my tools on, and everything else. And I did all the work myself. And I did one project at a time. And if it didn't sell for a couple of months, then you're not doing anything for a couple of months till you get that sold. And stuff like that kept happening. It was not like the market we have today, right? Back then. So. And now I find myself where I'm doing multiple projects with multiple investors, and now it's more of a business, and it's growing a lot better. And I put my tools down, and basically I'm more managing and delegating now more than anything else, and just making sure that projects go smooth. And I'm still learning, still making mistakes, still getting better. But I can say I'm a whole lot better person than who I was a couple of years ago before I joined even this group. So my hat's off to everybody that, thanks for making this group happen. This is what I was missing when before I started. Like in 2004, there wasn't much of this stuff going on. So I didn't have the support that I have today. If I would have had that, I probably would have made less mistakes, and I'd be more ahead in the game right now than I am today. But just this year alone and last year, the first year was a little slow to get started, just get things motivating, get it going, getting it organized. But now that I got that in place, We had some issues with some different subs and contractors we're dealing with, but we fixed that. And then once in a while, you get to the team where you got the team, and then it's going to be fun just to work with them too, right? It becomes your new family, your new people you're surrounded with, and it's all about the network you're with, right? So that's the difference from where I was before. I had no network, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just shooting, putting a blindfold on, going forward, and just hope for the best. And now I'm a little bit more educated to where I'm heading and what I'm doing now, and I'm looking best interest for the investors that I work with, because I want to work with them down the road again. So I want to make sure everything goes smooth and continue that relationship building up, and make the best for everybody, make win-wins. I like win-wins. So that's where I am today. I am a lot more, I still have a lot of growing up to do. I'm not going to say I'm God yet, but I definitely have a lot of experience coming in behind me now. That's going to me feel a lot more confident and moving more forward now than I ever have. And just by having a power team in place, and all that stuff coming together, and the wonderful people we work here with Cashflow Tribe also is just phenomenal.
Amazing. And I think what's powerful about that is that you talked about being around community. It's about leveling up your mindset. Even what you said now, even to this day, this very moment, you're still striving to learn, build skills. You're not just thinking you're at the top of the mountain. Oh, I know it all. There's nothing more to learn. No, there's always something to learn, no matter how long you've been around something, because there, just like the old saying goes, there's always an opportunity to learn every day. And if we're looking for it, it will always present itself. And so you definitely are someone who's exuding the traits of someone who's successful. And I think your business has shown exactly why. And you've definitely been a person who continues to strive for improvement. And that is the name of the game. The more we improve, the more we grow, the more opportunities will come. And I think you're definitely someone who's done that. So that's awesome. And kudos to you, man. So there are people watching this right now, Daniel. There are people watching this, listening to us right now. And they want to get started in real estate. They want to get started. Maybe they're having the same fantasies that you had when you first started. Maybe they had this dream, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire before 30, or I'm going to do this, that, and the third. I'm going to, all this stuff, right? What would you say to them right now that they should do to get started?
The first thing to do is get yourself involved in a community like we have right now going on. This is the best thing you can do that I didn't have before. And if I wish I would have had this from day one. The community is number one. Get yourself surrounded with like-minded people, number one. Second, build your network. Build yourself people that if you're going to flipping, make sure you have a team in place, get contractors in place before you can get started. Just get ready. Even though you're not 100% it's going to go perfect, at least you'll have something ready to get going. Then after that, once you got the contractors going, then build your network in investing, and then get yourself a coach. Actually, I should have said that first thing. Get a coach first. Get someone to help you, guide you through all that stuff first, and then they'll guide you step by step how to get there. And it'll save you time and money by going through it. It might cost you a little bit on the front, but at the end of the game, it's going to save you a lot more, and it's going to make you a lot more money down the road, and it's going to save you years of headaches and mistakes. I've done the hard way. I've done it since 2004, so I did a few major failures at that point. If I would have had people that support me and help me at that point, I would have been glad to pay the extra for just to get the extra help that people that have experience that can actually give you counsel, not advice, but counsel on how to get things done. And that to me is priceless. That's what you need. That's the first thing you got to get going, get surrounded with the right people. That's going to make everything happen.
Yeah, you definitely don't do this on your own. You're not an individual who can know it all. You got to have the professionals around you. You got to have the experts, the mentors, the comrades alongside you, those who you can lean on when you're in the dumps, and those who you can celebrate with because they've been on that journey this whole time. You're going to need people to educate you, people who hold you accountable, people who can fund your deals, people who can partner with you, people who can see your blind spots. You're going to need these people around you because we're not going to be perfect. We're going to always be people who are learning. We're always going to be people who are striving forward, and we're only going to go further faster when you have that community that you're surrounded with. It makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. And so, with Daniel, before I let you go, just give us real quick, where can we connect with you? How do we connect with you? And if people want to possibly partner up with you out in New Brunswick, people want to build a relationship with you, how can they do that?
Well, you can reach me at basically at Daniel LeBlanc on Facebook. And you can also reach me at 506-229-4205. That's my phone number. And basically, I'm old, so I'm not into the Instagram stuff. All that is different stuff yet, but I will learn it. But and then there's also my email address, which is LeBlancOnHomes with an S @gmail.com.
Boom. There it is, y'all. I'll put it in the description of this podcast. So definitely scroll below if you want to find ways to connect with him. Daniel, I want to thank you so much. This has been Zero to Hero. I hope you took something out of it. Be sure to take action so that you can get results just like our guests that you've listened to today. Stay tuned for the next episodes, and we'll see you on the next one.